What's up, guys? I just wanted to talk about life and how meaningless life is, at least to some people like myself. And so you know, you never asked to be here. You never asked to be born and all that stuff. And now your parents get together, which they're selfish enough, and they bring you to this world, and they think like everything's gonna be good, everything's gonna be great, and they bring you to this world. And mind you, like most marriages, I don't care like if it's from back in the day. I don't care if it's from like 70s or 80s or 90s or whatever. These like the couples, they always had like arguments and fights and everything, which I experienced it in my life. I experienced it in my youth and all that stuff. And it's not perfect. Relationships and marriages have never been perfect, but for whatever reason, people get married just on purpose of bringing kids to this world. And a lot of times, these people, they don't get along. These people, they're not even sure if the marriage or relationship is going to last long. They don't have no money, they're in poverty, they don't have people around them to support them and all that. They just, some cases, they doing drugs and alcohol. They just doing a bunch of like crazy stuff. And they're just like, they're not in a healthy mind. Like some of them have mental issues and all that. Some of them, they don't know, they have no clue what life is like. They have no like, which in my case, my grandparents didn't guide my parents. So my parents, as a result, were clueless. So a bunch of clueless people bringing kids to this world, expecting like miracles happen, like their kids becoming like superstars, their kids becoming like somebody very wealthy, or they're bringing kids just to not be alone, which is very selfish. And they're bringing kids to later on in life help them out with their situation that they're in, which is extremely selfish, because now they put the burden on you to take care of them and all that stuff. But out of all this stuff that happens, now you're here. So you're a kid, your teenage years and all that stuff. You get no type of like support. I mean, yeah, your parents might support you a little bit because you're a kid, but at the same time, they don't give you no proper guidance. They don't tell you like how life works. They don't tell you like how things are actually in real life, especially if you're a guy. Especially if you're a guy. So you go like you start going to school. You experience like getting bullied. You experience like teachers picking up on you. You experience isolation. People are like staying away from you because they think like you're weird or you don't fit in and all that stuff. So you constantly get bullied and picked on, and it doesn't stop until high school. High school, same thing. Your teachers don't care about you. They don't teach you anything, any valuable things, except like, well, George Washington was the first president of the United States, or there's like 9 planets on this solar system and all that stuff. And a bunch of BS that doesn't really matter. Like they don't teach you anything like in these schools, bro. Like they don't teach you like nothing. They just teach you stuff that it you don't even need to know, bro. Like, I don't need to know what happened like 3,000 years ago. Like, I really don't need to know, because whatever it was in the past. I want to know what's going on now. Like, I want to know what's the real life is. But no, they just like give you a big ass book with like 600 pages on it, and you have to learn everything. Then it's just a bunch of BS. It just like takes up your time and all that stuff. You have to wake up early, and like I said, you never asked to be that way. You never asked to be in that position, but that's how the system wants you to be. So you wake up early in the morning, go to school, deal with these punk kids, deal with these bullies, deal with these um with these people, or these kids that don't care about you, but to like bring you down and talk shit behind your back and all that stuff. You deal with these selfish ass teachers that they're only there just for the paycheck. And it's just like, it's totally meaningless. Your life is just getting by. And not to mention, like, you're at the class for like, I don't know, if each class is like an hour, 2 hours, depends. You're in those classes, and you think like the weather is hot, you don't bring a jacket, but you go inside the classroom, it's like freezing cold. Like, you're at the freezing cold for 2 hours, and you get sick. Or sometimes, it's freezing cold and they still have the AC on. Like, bro, in my school it was like that. And I was like literally, we didn't know what to do. Like, so we were bringing jacket all the time. And you can't use your cell phone, because like, as soon as you take off your cell phone, they're gonna snatch it out of your hands, especially if you're in middle school and high school. And you can't do really nothing. They just like lock you in those classes for like an hour or two until you go to the next class, get locked up over there. And you better be on time. You can't be late. You can't be like on some funny stuff. You have to learn. You have to get like A plus on all classes. Otherwise, they're gonna think you're a dummy, because they send a report card to your parents. And your parents, if they see like you have like all F's or all D's and all that stuff, well, you're gonna be in a world of trouble. Because now they're gonna call your parents, and they're gonna tell your parents that what is your kid doing. And not only that, in these schools full of like toxicity, full of toxic kids. You have kids that like that's smoking, they're drinking, you have girls over there very like, I know they're kids, but still like they're selfish, they're narcissists, they're full of themselves, they're rejecting good guys. They always like, you always see like those jockers, those jockheads or dickheads. They always have the girls around them. And you ask the girl out over there, you're trying to talk to them, trying to get an experience. But since you were born a nice guy, or you've been raised a nice guy because of your dumbass parents, now all these women are like, all these girls are like rejecting you, laughing at you, teasing you, bullying you, and completely alienating you. And it's brutal, man. It's brutal. And you go through this life, like, and then after high school, like, finish, which is 4 years, no joke, man, 4 years after teaching you meaningless stuff. Then you go to college, and they over there you start all over again with teaching like meaningless stuff too. Like, now you're an adult, now like 18 years old, and clueless of like what do you want to learn and all that stuff. A lot of times you don't even know what to learn, and you go there, you just take one I don't know, class or something, or a study, and you don't even know what that means. You don't even want to be part of it, but you're there. And you know you're around a bunch of adults. But guess what? they're adults, but they're still in high school. You know, their mindset, their brain is still in high school, and they act like complete like idiots. And you know, you're there for another like well, let's say 2 years, until you finish, and then it's not finishing there. You know, you maybe you possibly get bullied over there. You're not getting no girls over there again if you're a guy like me, and then you go to university. So now university is another ball game, bro. Like now you gotta pay for the classes. Each class is like, I don't know, 2 grand or something. You have to pay those, and then after that, you know, let's say like you finished it, but you still haven't decided what you wanted to study, but you just took something because you just wanted to finish school. So now, after 2 years of studying, you got off the school and you're done with the school. And now, after paying all those classes and wasting all your time, now you're in debt. You know, you're in a massive debt, 50, 60, 70 grand in debt. And you get out of college, you get off the university. Now you want to try to look for a job and nobody's hiring you because you don't have experience. And every place that you go, they want experience. They don't care about your education, you know. They want experience. And how can you have an experience when you're fresh out of school? And that's the part that gets me, bro. Like all these things like people say, oh, if you go to school you'll be fine and all that stuff. But guess what? If you go to school, you have to know what you're studying. Like you can't just take a BS career and go for it. Like you can't do that, bro. You have to, and then whatever you take, it has to be at least like either you have to be a doctor, you have to be an engineer, or you have to do anything with the law school and all that stuff to make some money, you know, at least. But even then, you know, you still have to study like a lot more. You know, after university, you have to still take classes, take trainings and all that stuff, which is like wasting your time, wasting your money and all that stuff. And after you're done, now you're trying to find a job, but the job doesn't pay good, you know? So, you know, your parents start to like ask you for money, you know, because let's say like you get a job. Now your parents start asking for money, but you still have debt, and you have just barely started. And as soon as your parents see that you don't have no income and all that stuff, they probably like kick you out. Now you're just like living in your car or living in a van or something, living like with a roommate, which you're forced upon to, because again your parents are like piece of crap. And it's just one of those things, man. It's just suffering after suffering, you know. You thought like everything's gonna be good after school, but now like you're becoming like bum, you know. And your parents are gonna get disappointed at you. Your parents are gonna talk crap about you. Your parents gonna be like, oh, I did all this work for you to be a bum. Like you end up being a bum and all that stuff. I'm like, you didn't teach me nothing. You didn't teach me no proper thing. But now you're just asking a lot from me. Like, come on now. Like these parents are so clueless, and they're bringing like kids like me to this world so they can suffer and suffer and suffer and be a slave to the system. And it's just like, it's brutal, bro. It's brutal. Like, honestly, like, this life is just so crap, bro. This life is so crap. Like, let's say you get a job, right? Because you're gonna start with the minimum wage. Like, I don't know where you guys live. It depends where you live. Like, minimum wage is not paying nothing at all, bro. It's just like straight up like slavery. So you work your ass off, you know, like 40 hours, 50 hours, 60 hours, and you see like you can't get ahead because everything's too expensive, you know. Everything is like out of this control, out of this world, bro. Everything is so expensive, and you can't catch up with a lot of things, you know. You barely can pay your rent, barely have like food to eat, barely paying your bills, and now you have to support somebody else, which is your parents, or you're like, if you have a girlfriend or whatever, you have to support them because they're gonna look after your pockets. They're not gonna be there if you can't provide for them. And because women these days, they don't want to work. They want like the man to do all the work and just sit down, look pretty. That's all they want. But let's say now you're an adult, you want to find a girlfriend or whatever. If you didn't find a girlfriend in high school and all that stuff, it's pretty much over. But some, like a lot of kids, when they're in like school, middle school, they already had girlfriends, boyfriends. But like if you're somebody like me, never had a chance, you know there's not gonna be no prom at the high school. There's not gonna be no nothing, like no dates, no going out, no hang out, no like sex, nothing, bro. So let's say like if you're not a guy like me, you get a girlfriend now. She's after your money. She's after your pockets, because like she's you know a girl in high school or middle school, bro. She has so many options that you know that she just like so many options, but she goes for the worst type of guys, because she's young and dumb and naive and all that stuff. But I think like that's an excuse. Like when women are naturally, like girls are naturally, they are like gravitated towards evil. So I would say like all these piece of shit people, all these piece of shit men, they get play from these women, and you just watch them and just eat you alive. But now you get a girlfriend and you got to provide for her. You have to look after her. You make sure she's comfortable, make sure she's living that life, make sure like she has whatever she wants and all that stuff. Otherwise she's gonna leave for another guy, obviously. And even if you give a girl everything, she's still gonna leave, because she's always thinking like the grass is always greener on the other side, and they're always like better and bigger deal out there because of the hypergamy. And a lot of women are hypergamist as fuck. So it's just like this life is losing its meaning, because like you work hard for everything. Like as a man, you work hard for everything, bro. You work hard for your career, you work hard for your money, you work hard for your family, you work hard for getting a girlfriend, you work hard for like being a people pleaser and all that stuff. But it's all a bunch of BS, bro. It's all a bunch of crap. But that's one thing that forced upon us, like a lot of parents bring kids to this world, they thinking like, oh, their kids are gonna be pretty and all that stuff. I'm like, you don't even know if they're gonna be pretty. Like look at yourself, look at your husband. You think like that kid's gonna be pretty? Like, and then sometimes, let's say like if both parents are pretty or one of the parents are pretty, there's no guarantee that that kid's gonna be like handsome. There's no, especially a man, there's no guarantee. I mean, the genes, what about the genes? If the genes are bad, like let's say your parents are short, then the kid most likely is going to be short. Like myself, my dad wasn't the shortest, but my mom was pretty short. So I mean, honestly, I don't know. My dad was, I would say, about 5'10", 5'11". My dad was like about 5'10", 5'11". My mom is pretty short. My mom is like 5'2", 5'3", and I'm 5'7". Like, so that goes to show you, like, I have a terrible gene, like, and I never asked for this stuff, but I stopped growing when I was like 15. I completely stopped growing when I was 15. And, you never asked to have like siblings, but now you have siblings. Let's say you have a brother, younger, older, whatever. You have sister, younger, older. You have like multiple siblings, and you just like, damn, bro. Like let's say you're the least favored sibling out of all of them, you're gonna have like you're gonna have a really hard time, like a really hard time, because like nobody wants undesirable kid. Nobody wants an ugly kid. Nobody wants to be around an ugly kid or undesirable kid. So let's say if you're short and ugly and all that stuff, guess what? You're not gonna have friends. You're not gonna, you know, you're not gonna like have a girlfriend most likely. Or if you have a girlfriend, you just have to have like they're gonna be like land wills, and they're gonna be like girls with mustache and all that stuff. Like it's just brutal, man. It's just brutal. You never asked for it, but you just got thrown into it. And let's say you want to date, these women are so hypergamous, they're so selfish and narcissist, they're just like outrageous standards, and God forbid if you're a guy that doesn't meet the society standards, like the beauty standards, which is like above 6 feet tall, handsome, good looking, chad looking, rich, charismatic, and all that crap, bro. God forbid if you're not one of those guys. And you're gonna catch hell constantly, because you're gonna find yourself alone, isolated, depressed, and all that stuff. Because most people, if not all, no, they don't want to be around you, and that's just gonna be really, your life is gonna suck really bad, bro. And the problem is with people is that people are very judgmental. You get born into this judgmental piece of crap world. Everybody's judging you based on looks and height and all that stuff. Everybody's like um everybody judging you based on how much money you make or how much girls you get and all that stuff. Like it's like, who wants to deal with this crap, bro? Who really wants to deal with this crap? So you go your 20s, depressed, sad, alone, isolated, and in your 30s it's gonna be even worse, because once you hit 30, bro, life is gonna hit different, bro. Like if you had like hard time in your 20s, wait until you get 30, and you're gonna see how life is. And life, as a 30-year-old guy who hasn't accomplished anything, with the life that is a girl, is completely different. Like a 30-year-old girl can still get dates and all that stuff, can get support and all that stuff. Guess what? A 30-year-old guy who doesn't have nothing, guess what? You're gonna be dying alone, bro. Everybody's gonna avoid you. Everybody's gonna avoid you. Your friends are gonna avoid you. Your girlfriend is gonna avoid you. All the girls that you want to date, they're gonna avoid you, because they thinking like, you've been in this on this earth for 30 years and you haven't accomplished anything. But they don't know nothing about you, bro. They don't know nothing about you. They don't know like you have mental issues. They don't know if like you were dealt with a bad hand. They don't know your parents. They don't know how you like got raised and all that stuff. They don't know like what environment have you been raised. They don't know like how many years you have been isolated and all that stuff. Like they don't know nothing about it, but just like judging you based on what they see, because people judge you based on what they see, bro. They don't want to dig deeper into like knowing that person. They don't want that, because to people it's all about looks and appearance, bro. It's all about like image and appearance. And if you don't have that, well, it's gonna go downhill from there. Like especially these days, like women are like, we all know women are like insane, bro. Like women are like, you know, it's already hard enough dating, and the society is like making it 10 times harder to date, because all this social media and shit. Women are like being poisoned and brainwashed by social media. Oh, you just have to go after this guy. Oh, if you go after a guy who's under 6 feet, that guy's a loser. He doesn't get any girls and all that stuff. So it's just like you just experience like hell on earth, and You can't get your sexual needs met. You can't get physical with the girl. You can't get romantic with the girl because of your genetics, because of your like physical appearance, because of your face, because of your circumstances. And with all these girls, like, they just like getting mad body counts, bro. They getting ran through by Chads, Tyrones, Chadriguez's, like Abduls, Ray Rays, Pookies, uh, Ramones, whoever. I mean, whoever you name it, they get ran through by all these men. These men are like, put them in rotation, just bang them and leave them and all that stuff. And some cases get them pregnant. And it's just it's and then like these women, they don't want good dudes. They think like good dudes are lame, boring, undesirable. No woman wants them. They're unwanted. They're just like something is seriously wrong with them and all that stuff, which is not the case. Just good dudes are never being chosen. That's the problem. The problem is that these women are never choosing these guys. And it's because like social media, social media poison these girls that, like, oh, good guys are boring. Good guys are like, avoid them. Go for the bad boy. Bad boys are exciting, like, they're going after these bad boys, because of like they're unpredictable, and they just like, they never know their next move, what they're gonna do. And most of the time they cheat on these girls. Most of the time, like, because these bad boys, they get so many girls, they learn how to talk to women and all that stuff. They've been chosen since day one. So they know how to talk to women and all that stuff. They know how to manipulate them. They know how to play them. They know how to like sell them a dream, like an empty promise and all that stuff, and leave them. They know how to like unlock their code in their brain and unlock their legs and all that stuff. So, obviously these girls, they're going to choose up on these guys, and they get used, they get abused. These men dog them out, dog these women out, give them broken noses and all that stuff. And these women, they still go back to them because women love the pain of love, bro. Women love the pain that comes with love, bro. Because to women, easy things are like boring. Easy things are crap, Like a guy like me, they think like, oh, this guy's too easy, This guy's too easy because he's a nice guy, So they don't want that. They want something like they have to work for. And they have to work for these bad boys to get them. Because bad boys, they're being chosen by other girls. Other girls are snatching them. Other girls like sleeping with them. They want to sleep with them. Other girls want to steal them from other girls, So that's why these girls, they be like, oh, these guys are so wanted. I have to fight for my life. I have to fight for my love and all that stuff. I'm like, these girls are evil, bro. These girls are like they're just like so vindictive. They're so like brainwashed. They're so like satanic that I can't even say it. It's not even funny, bro. And they get ran through. They get knocked up. 1 kid, 2 kid, 3 kid, 4 kid, 5 kids, sometimes more. And they still haven't learned their lesson, They still going after these bad boys. And these bad boys, they're not taking them seriously, bro. Because, like, why would they? If you're a guy that always get chosen by women, why would you compete to one girl? Why? So that's what these guys do. These guys just run a train on them, leave them on the side of the road. And now these girls become bitter, angry. Like, they're so, like, envious of other girls and all that stuff, and they start hating all men. They be like, oh, where have all the good men gone? Well, like when they're in their 20s and 30s, or their teens, 20s and 30s, they always like push away these good guys. They're always making fun of them, laugh at them, making jokes about them, isolate them, reject them, friend zone them, and all that stuff. And they think it's funny, but later in life, when they got smacked in the face by life, when they're like 35, 40, now they have all these bastard kids by all these like no good sorry ass men. Now they be like, where have all the good men gone? Yeah, like, it's always something that, that a man do wrong, bro. Always a man's fault. Always a man's fault. Like, these women love to blame men for their f ups, for their mistakes, and they don't want to hold accountability. Like, women know nothing about accountability because ever since they were kids, they were like, oh, you do nothing wrong. Everything you do is acceptable. Everything you do is great and all that stuff. So they being brought up by this mentality, and they just ruin people's lives, bro. And they ruin their lives. They ruin their lives and ruin people's lives. And they think it's funny, bro. They think like it's nothing wrong with that. But whenever somebody else do something to them, oh, now it's their fault. I'm like, wow, bro. These women are wild, man. These women are wild. Like, and you're as a decent guy, you go rejection after rejection after rejection, and you get no breaks. And like, all these girls are just like constantly rejecting you, making fun of you, humiliating you, and you think like, oh, being a gentleman and all that stuff, because your parents taught you like, oh, just be a gentleman to women, just be a gentleman, man. Women love gentlemen. You being gentleman, you get used, you get abused, you get like tossed to the side, and these women don't care about you. They don't give you nothing, bro. They don't give you nothing but headache, problems, and heartache, bro. And like a man who caused women pain, they give them love, they give them sex, they give them like everything. They make these guys food, buy these guys everything, bro. But these guys, all they do is just dick them down. And you being lied to, another man. If you're a man, you're being lied to heavily. You think like, oh, it's not about looks. This word, it's about personality and all that stuff. Just kind of BS, just total BS. Like, this word is about looks, bro. This word is about looks and money. Like a lot of times people say like, oh, looks aren't everything. Yes, looks are everything. Looks are the majority of the factor, like majority of the topic. Just look at the dating scene. Just look at how people like, how like unattractive men that don't have friends, they don't have dating lives, they're virgins. They have to pay for an escort to lose their virginity. I mean, how embarrassing is that? You have to pay an escort to lose your virginity? Come on now. But, they just constantly lying you. They don't tell you like, oh, money's everything. They tell like, oh, as long as you're a good person, you're a good personality, as long as you have good character, you can't get girls, you can't get further in life. And then once you grow up, you actually realize that everything you taught was a lie. Everything that you taught was a lie. Like, everything. And now, like, it's too late. You're in your 30s, or you're in your mid-20s, or you're in your 30s. And life is just passing by so fast. Life is not waiting for you. If you get behind, life is gonna pass you right by, bro. And it's gonna be too late. It's gonna be too late. And yeah, man, it's just like this life is it's so meaningless, man. Like, you just come to this world, suffer, get rejected, get bullied, get ostracized, get mean mugged by people. People always give you dirty looks. Nobody wants to be around you. Everybody wants to use you. Nobody wants to be your friend. Your friends are leaving you after a while, after they get a girlfriend. These broads like friend zoning you, and they get a boyfriend, they block you and all that stuff. It's just like, this life is full of crap, man. And some people say like I'm complaining, but it's not really complaining, it's just being real. Like, this life is just crap, man. It doesn't matter what you do. People say like, oh, just work harder. Like, I'm like, how harder should I work? How harder should I work? Like, I used to go to gym like 6 days a week. I was working like 70 hours a week. Like, at my job, 70 hours a week. 6 days a week out of the 6 days out of the week, I'm going to the gym. And I was making my money up. I had a good car. I was in shape. I was getting a haircut done, wearing nice clothes. I had like somewhat of a good social life, and I was getting anything, bro. I wasn't getting anything. Like all my hard work was tossed to the side. All my hard work was getting in vain completely. But people say like, "Oh, you got to work harder." Like, why should I work hard when the end result is like the same? Why should I work hard for a girl that doesn't appreciate me? You know, why should I go like chase after a girl that doesn't even want me, doesn't even acknowledge me? Why should I chase after a girl that is sleeping around with other guys, with a bunch of other guys, and only want to use me for food or free rides or just favors? It's just one of those things, man. This life is just so meaningless. Like there's nothing meaningless about this life. You get older and you grow alone. Your parents are passing away. Now you become more alone. And your siblings, they just, you know, your siblings, whether they're piece of shit or not, they just go about their life. They forget about you. They don't care about you. And it's just, it's so meaningless, bro. And you get older with no accomplishments and all that stuff. You live by yourself. Year after year of solitude, year after year of isolation. Barely can hold a job, barely can support yourself, barely can put food in your mouth. And you die. Or some people off themselves. That's the thing. Like a lot of people like off themselves because they know like they're not made for this world. They know that this world is not in their favor. So they know that. And it's just one of those things, man. It's just like whatever you do as a man, you're the problem. You're the one who gets blamed. It doesn't matter what you do. You never get a break. You can never get ahead. And life is just getting harder and harder each and every year. But I don't want to make this video for too long. It's already long enough. But you guys let me know what you guys think about this video. And I appreciate every single one of you that watching my videos, commenting, liking, supporting me, subscribing to my channel, and hear me rambling and all that stuff. Because like honestly, I only have YouTube to talk to. I don't have nobody else, man. So like I said, I appreciate all of you that are watching my videos and take your time and all that stuff. Whatever, like, you can't just put your headphones on and go about your day or whatever, making food or, eating food or going about your work and all that stuff. You just listening to my videos. I appreciate that. And I had like some people telling me that actually, which is kind of like, it's great, man. It's great to hear. But with that said, man, I hope you guys have a good day, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.